So what we're faced with here in SketchUp is a grey world. It is an infinite world. It's a bit like a world that you would go to in a game such as Minecraft, except that this one goes on forever and ever and ever. To look around this world, we can use the Orbit tool. Now your icon may look a little different depending on which version of SketchUp you're using. Your one may be a blue arrow symbol. And if we click and hold this button, we can start to look around inside this world, and hopefully you can see that it is infinite in all directions. It goes on and on and on in every way you can imagine. So we can orbit around this world. We can also move it around using the pan tool, and we can zoom in using the magnifying glass tool. You can also zoom in by doing a two-finger scroll. So by pressing down two fingers and rolling up and down, just like you would scroll up and down a website, you can use those same two fingers to scroll in order to zoom in and out. Now the easiest way of looking around in this world is if you draw just a simple object on the floor and then you try to pan around, you get a better feel for how this world rotates and how you can see it from lots of different angles. And also if you do the two fingers, you can zoom in and zoom out. Now I'm going to press Edit Undo to get rid of that, because what I want to do is to start drawing my clock. So what I'm going to do is to change my perspective from a three-dimensional view to a side-on view. So I'm going to press Camera, and I'm going to go to Standard Views, and I'm going to go to Front View. And that gives me a side-on view, exactly sideways on. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that represents my clock. From the origin, I'm going to draw it up, and at the moment it can be anything I want. Now, we're going to make this as accurate as possible. And right now, this is the wrong size. How do I know it's the wrong size? Well, if you're very careful, and if you notice, you'll see that the measurements are recorded at the bottom. It is 463.8 millimeters by 349.6. Now, I want to change that to the size of my clock. Now think back, can you remember how big the clock is? It's 180, comma space 180. And if I press enter, it will resize it to be exactly the right size rectangle that I want. Now if I go back to my Orbit tool, I can look around this rectangle from any angle I like. But hopefully you can see at the moment this square is super thin, as in paper thin. In fact, it's even thinner than paper. So what we're going to do is let's make it thick to match the thickness of the acrylic that we're using. So we're going to use this, it's called the push-pull tool, and we're going to pull it out and give it a thickness. Now how thick should it be? Well, we could make it super thick or quite thin. How thick is that? Again, we can look at the bottom and see that it's 6.8 millimeters. We want this to be 3 millimeters thick. That's how thick the acrylic is that we're using. If I press 3 and enter, you can now see that I've got a 3 millimeter backboard for my acrylic.